Go through the chamber now, because the Lisbon Treaty remains a burning issue for many politicians, as it has now been pretty much agreed all across Europe, save perhaps the Czech president. The DUP want a UK-wide referendum, no matter which party is in power after the general election, likely to be held in the spring. So let's go through to the chamber now to hear some of that debate. I can see Sammy Wilson is on his feet.
To us. And the truth of the matter is this, that with the centralisation of power, with the increase of qualified majority voting, with the increased powers of the Commission, with the increased powers that the President would have, and indeed even in terms of foreign policy, the High Commissioner or whatever he's going to, fancy name he's going to have, all of that will not only centralised power, but will lead to more European-wide decisions against which it is difficult for national parliaments and national administrations to oppose. Yes, we will give way.
Yes. Does the member not recognise that, in fact, arising out of Lisbon is greater scrutiny by national parliaments of proposed legislation, and also an increase in the powers of the European Parliament itself, and also, further to that, judicial review by the European Court? These are all enhancements of democracy.
I think one only has to look at, first of all, the nature of the European Parliament, even in its present form and in the enhanced form which is promised for it, to recognise that it is and will continue to be a fairly ineffectual body, faced with a Commission which will have more powers, a Commission, incidentally, on which some nations won't even have representation any longer. And yet the member tries to argue that this will lead to more democratic and more input for national parliaments. The fact of the matter is, and I mean, let's come back, because we could debate all of the intricacies of the Lisbon Treaty. It is a constitution. It represents 98% of what was in the original constitution. And it is something which no Democrat should be afraid to at least put to the people, argue its merits, face its critics, and then let the people decide. That is what national sovereignty is all about. That is what the people who will be impacted on this. I know when I was in the Department of the Environment, and let me just give some examples. Motorcyclists, lorry drivers, bus drivers, farmers.
If the member could bring his remarks to a close.
Impacted by European decisions over which I, as a minister, had no control, and this Assembly had no control. That we can do away with that, and the opportunity in a referendum.